This is Papabrad's Gaming with a quick walk and talk today about Arcade1Up. What is Arcade1Up doing right? Recently, I was playing my big blue cabinet, and pretty much out of nowhere, the controls stopped responding. So, immediately I contacted who I consider to be an expert on the big blue and fighting games, Steps Gaming. She helped me figure out that my controller board had went bad. So, after finding out the controller board had went bad inside my control panel, I contacted Arcade1Up warranty, and they were really good. So first thing that they're doing right is they're getting warranty service done correctly. Within about 11 or 12 days, I had a brand new whole control panel. Thank you, Arcade1Up. Customer service was excellent. A couple emails back and forth describing the problem. I had already registered my cab in the app. I don't know if that helped, but it was very smooth. So I have to say, Arcade1Up, your warranty, having used it for the first time, color me impressed. Good job. First thing they did right by far was my warranty experience when my big blue cab stopped working. Very impressed with how they handled themselves. So good job, Arcade1Up. Pretty painless, and I am glad to have my machine up and running. Another thing they're doing right is I think they're doing right by having the cabs sent out to Best Buy. Best Buy is a big retailer. They certainly can, adequately display the cabs, and I think they'll have pretty good control of their inventory. Hopefully, we'll still see some discounts, but who knows? I think Best Buy is less likely to put things on sale. I did get Ridge Racer from Best Buy, but most of my cabs that I've bought have either came from Arcade1Up Direct when they put them on sale, or Walmart. So we'll see. But I think a partnership with Best Buy, to me, for them is a good win. I think Best Buy is going to do well with the Arcade1, especially if they make store displays and promote them correctly. Once again, the store that is convenient to me in this gigantic area of shopping pretty much has no Arcade1Up representation at all. Not even a cab. They took all the stickers down in the store. So I would like to see where my local shopping, I can maybe check out some cabs and not have to drive for an hour. But that's a pet peeve. Other things they're doing right. I think the new deluxe cabs are awesome. I think getting rid of risers is going to be the second thing that Arcade1Up is doing right. So my first thing was the warranty was really good. When I used warranty service, they did a great job. It's very easy, very well handled. Second thing, getting rid of risers. Risers suck. There's no need to have risers on these arcade cabs. All that does is make them less stable. I'm not going to go by a cab basis, but I definitely like the new Mortal Kombat cab. I think they did a really good job. They need to continue to work on the online to really get their machines where I would like to see them. But overall, the fact that they are working on online, this is my third one. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, it has online. It's not the online we want yet, but it's a step in the right direction. So continuing to update cabs and give us features such as functional online is a third thing they're doing right. So 1 was warranty, 2, get rid of risers, 3, continuing to upgrade the online functions on existing cabs. Okay, so those are 3 good things that I think they are doing right. 4th thing I think they're doing right is they are at least trying to communicate. They are trying with their Arcade1 update show and the other Arcade1Up official show they do. And I think that's probably a step in the right direction. What do you think Arcade1Up is doing right? Leave a comment and let me know. What do you think? What do you like about what Arcade1Up is doing? So what else is Arcade1Up doing right? Warranty was a plus. Riserless, plus. Increasing online on existing cabinets is a plus. Attempting to have better communication with the community is a plus. The joysticks, and they seem to be very selective about which cabs they actually put a joystick that works in, but at least in the case of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, the new Mortal Kombat Deluxe, at least some of the cabs were getting better joysticks, which you might have to immediately replace. So that is definitely a plus. I noticed that the joysticks in my Marvel vs. Capcom 2 were a lot better than earlier Arcade1Ups. I noticed in the Mortal Kombat Deluxe they used a good joystick. It's great that they're at least putting decent joysticks in some of the cabs. All the buttons are trash. Across the board, you will always have to replace buttons. The buttons they use are absolute garbage. But I do like on some of the cabs they're using good joysticks. Not all of them, some of them. But that is a plus. That's one less thing to change and upgrade if you want a higher quality experience. And if I'm going to buy something and display it in my house, it's there to play it, not just to look at it. So I want the controls to work well. That's an expected. That's not a optional upgrade. That's an upgrade for me to have it and keep it and have it take up space. It has to work right. I think overall, I like what I'm seeing. It's moving in the correct direction. The deluxe cabs to me are an improvement over the previous cabs by far. There's been a lot of talk about class of 1981 Pac-Man and the new monitor. The new monitor, it is cool that they laid it down, but I don't think the BOE monitor, even though it's an excellent monitor, was really made to sit at that viewing angle. And I'm just going to say this, when you're playing it, it doesn't matter. It looks fine while you're playing it. But when you're walking around, when you're passing by the cab, yeah, you're going to see some light bleed. Might look a little washed out. I think that was an unexpected thing by them. The BOE is a good monitor, but I don't think it's made to be laid down and viewed at from those kind of angles. So you will notice that in every single walk by review, but not a major concern, but something that's there. It's not perfect. Is it better than it was before? I think so. Other stuff Arcade1Up is doing right. I think they just need to continue putting out the cabs that we want and to continue listening to the community. I think they need to look at some of the fresh faces on YouTube and maybe not be so stale and just keep recycling the same 3 or 4 content creators that they always use. There's plenty of good options out there. I'm saying let's give some of these fresh YouTube people some good leads with Arcade1Up stuff. It's the same old faces. So what else is Arcade1Up doing right? Another thing that Arcade1Up is doing right is they're giving people a chance to own these nostalgic arcades, replicas of them in their homes. And I think that's a great thing. I think they are doing good with the art for the most part. It has the nostalgia when you walk up to an Arcade1Up, and that's one of the key things. They have to have the art looking like the original arcades. I will not buy an Arcade1Up with original art. Like a Yoga Flame, to me, I have zero interest. Zero. Because it's not really what I remember from the arcades. And an Arcade1Up buy to me is a nostalgia buy. But in general, another good thing that Arcade1Up does is they get the art and they lean heavily on nostalgia, because nostalgia is what's going to get you to buy an Arcade1Up. So leaning on nostalgia, something they're doing right. Another thing Arcade1Up is doing right is they lean on nostalgia. It's our nostalgia of these classic arcades that makes us buy their products. So by giving us authentic artwork that looks like the original arcades, that's something they're doing right. To me, every time they make a cab where it's original art, it's moving further away from the things that I want. You know, I want a cab that looks like Miss Pac-Man. I don't want, you know, an interpretation of Miss Pac-Man. I want a cab that looks like Street Fighter, not a cab that looks like some original artwork using Street Fighter characters. That's why I skipped the Yoga Flame cab. Just for me, if it's taking up space, it needs to look like it belongs in a 80s or 90s arcade. That's what I'm interested in, 80s and 90s arcade. So, nostalgia is something they do right. Another thing Arcade1Up really does right is licensing. They get the games that we want. They get the games that we've heard of. They get the big name titles, the classic 80s, some of the biggest names, 90s, even 2000. They get the correct titles. They get the titles that people want. They get the Street Fighters and the Pac-Mans and the Galaga. You know, they're gonna have those nostalgic titles that people want, and the licensing is done right. Now the execution sometimes is not right, but the games they are getting are generally pretty good games. Another thing I like that Arcade1Up is doing right, in my opinion, is giving us more games on each cab. These cabs take up a lot of real estate. You know, I would prefer that they have from 10 to 14 games on them, so I have more choices to play since it's taking up space. And I think there are two camps on this. I think people that have unlimited space, they don't care as much. You know, they want to run 30 monitors all at once, one with each game on it, and I can accept that. But for me, one thing I think they're doing right is giving us more of a multi-cab, more of a multi-cade experience. They do have to work on which games they put together. For example, putting Paperboy on the Mortal Kombat cab is a mistake. Not putting the Punisher on the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 cab was a huge mistake. That's a Marvel cab. But overall, I think they're doing a decent job. So to sum up, Arcade1Up, you're doing a lot of things right. Keep doing those things right. Remember to give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Consider subscribing to Papa Brad's Gaming. And as always, stay legit.